Hi, I'm Nathaniel, and this is what you need to know today. I'm going to be talking about some of the highlights from today's investor call meeting and some of the news that came out of that meeting. But before I go any further, I have to let you know I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a stockbroker. If you need somebody who does that for a living, please go see somebody who does that. Everything I talk about on this channel are my own thoughts and opinions. You should always do your own research. I am big on HUMBL, and I'm an electrician. That's what I do for a living. So let's get into today's investor call meeting and some of the announcements that happened today. Well, one of the announcements we had today was an acquisition of Monster Creative of LA. Check out the link here. This is a company that helps to take a movie and make the movie amazing for like a trailer to get people to want to come and watch the movie without giving the movie away. And this company is known for doing some really big movies in the industry. Really excited to have them on the team over there at HUMBL. I think they're going to be an excellent fit for the HUMBL team, and obviously that is why HUMBL did an acquisition, and they're going to be also helping with the development of the NFTs. So we knew that they were looking to do a merger and acquisition of a studio, so they have accomplished that, and they're going to be using that also to help create multimedia of NFTs. And we're going to go a little bit more in detail about the NFTs, a little bit more in the video, so you stay tuned for that. So second announcement of today was at the investor call meeting, and we got some of these things ahead of time. And this was pretty exciting. This is going to give HUMBL some really good exposure, not to mention for some other reasons, not just one aspect of it. HUMBL is going to be the official NFT provider of in September of this year, and that's I believe on the 25th and 26th. It's going to represent over 50 bands, one of which is Dave Matthews Band, so everybody knows that one. And you can, of course, you can go check out the link there for you, and you can see for yourself all the different bands that are playing. Maybe you'll want to go and check out the band. Seems like a pretty big venue. I've not personally ever been to this type of venue before, but the tickets, just to kind of give you an idea, the sold out tickets are like $186, I believe, and those are all sold out. And now the next tier up is like $209, and then it goes all the way up to $999 for the tickets. Those are the VIP tickets, but the first tier, tier 1, which is those $186 tickets, those are already all sold out. Now, how big of a venue is this? Well, this attracts about 27,000 people to this venue. And HUMBL is going to be the official NFT. So they're going to be using taking pictures and photography and graphics and all these type of things to highlight the individual bands or things or functions or things that are happening there. This is going to give some more exposure to artists, people like that in the music industry. So this is definitely a huge catalyst for HUMBL and for the team over there, and I'm excited about that. And you as an investor, I'm sure you're excited about that too. I know there was a bit of a buzz today on Twitter with everything that's happening with HUMBL. And also, they're going to be using Smalls and Risked as the talented photographers that they are. They're known for their photography in the entertainment business. A lot of the photography already for a lot of movie stars and stuff like that. And HUMBL has contracted them to do so. So this is going to help them with a lot of vertical markets in the sports, entertainment, media, and gaming sector with that photography. If you're new to HUMBL, this probably wouldn't make any difference to you. But for those who have been invested for a while, probably most of you already know about this, but just going to go over it. So he just addressed the whole share structure and so forth. There's 45% Brian Foote he owned. 16% was owned by some of the team members there at HUMBL, and then the remaining, I think it was like 38%, if I recall, was handled by investors, not us, but investors in general. And so about the B shares, basically Brian Foote said he was committed to not selling any of his B shares through the entirety of 2021 and the entirety of 2022. He also mentioned that he isn't even paying himself. He hasn't paid himself for any of this. He's put a lot of his own money into this company, which is what I've been saying more or less all along. I've not been worried about this share structure. And he has compared it to other fintech type companies as far as the share structure, and their share structure is very much in line with other companies. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. Also, just from a different standpoint, from a regulatory aspect, they can't just dump a bunch of shares on the market anyways. It has to be, when they take some shares off the market to take some money, to have some revenue for themselves, some income, they have to do it in stages, right? They can't just dump it all and be done with it. For obvious reasons, right? That wouldn't be good for shareholders, and there's regulations that are involved with that. So anyways, at the very end of the investor call meeting, Brian Foote said that if there was going to be any more mergers and acquisitions, he would use his own shares to buy those companies out.
I'll also be taking out from my shares anything that we do in M&A, so there's no dilution. I'll just go ahead and commit to that as well.
So talk about conviction and confidence. If you don't got that idea by now, I don't know how to make it any more real for you. But basically, Brian said he's going to be taking $1 in salary for pay, and won't be getting paid anything, despite the fact he's putting his own money and everything into this. He definitely sees the big picture, and we should too. As far as the revenue streams, they're doing well. They're making money on all three different platforms: their financial, their HUMBL Pay, and their marketplace, which is great. And they've already accomplished a lot. Just to get one of these aspects of any one of these three things that they're trying to accomplish done in itself is an accomplishment. And they're doing all three. We're getting the bones of the app and things like that right now, but the meat and the potatoes, so to speak, are going to come with some time. That in itself is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that all goes. With the ETX, he knows that there's pressure points with the whole linking accounts together, and they're working to resolve those issues. However, there's custodianship things and regulatory things that they have to work through in order to make those happen. But they do realize those are pressure points, and they want to relieve those pressure points, because obviously it's better for them and it's better for the consumer who's looking to get on the ETX. Obviously, if you're already investing in ETX, you can see for yourself you're doing really well with the ETX and your returns. I know I'm doing well with it. I'm blowing away what I can make at the bank, that's for sure. So just having money sitting in your bank account, even the regular stock market, it's just so much better, the returns that we've had so far. But he did say, with any investment, there's always risks. They don't guarantee that your money can't be lost or whatever. They're just providing a vehicle for you to potentially outpace and outdo the cryptocurrency market, which is important to remember as well. And let's talk about the app a little bit. They really want to have it set up so that the app is more like a swipe left, swipe right, and everything is there. Very seamless, easy to use. They will get there. It's not going to happen overnight. That's his intention. Everything to be in one place. And the app will be customizable by region. So what works in one region may not work in another region. And what works in one region may not be available to be used in another region because of the fact of regulatory issues or compliance issues that they might still have to work through. So that might be another factor as to why they may not have something in one area and have it in another area. He also has signed partnerships with the peer-to-peer aspect, which is coming soon. I know we are looking forward to that, but we're also looking forward to revenue streams, right? We're using these products, but as investors, we're mainly looking at what is going to make HUMBL the most money. More than likely, HUMBL is looking at which products are going to provide them a revenue stream, and subscriptions, for one, are very good about that. That gives more weight subscription-based stuff. So hence the ETX is an excellent revenue stream for them. Is it making them millions and millions of dollars yet? No, probably not. But it will, and it will surpass even that. So it's just something to keep in mind. And then since this is a new technology, it can't be compared to a traditional app development, right? So we're talking about Web3, we're talking about blockchain technology, and these things all have to marry together and work seamlessly. There's a lot of integration and customization that need to be done, and it's being built on the blockchain, right? Like I mentioned. It also has to be very dynamic, and the platform will be different according to where you might live, right? So it's going to be different in each location. So if you're in Japan, it might be a little different over there than it is here. Certain functions may not be available over there that they are here. They're going to do whatever they can that's going to make the most sense for the people also that live in those areas. There might be certain things that are really not that important to us. They're not that beneficial to us here in the United States, but they might be critical to somebody else that lives in another part of the world. And then how about Tickery? We got some updates about Tickery and how they're doing. So far, they've achieved $1 million in growth in Tickery sales in just over the last 30 days, 30-day period. That is a 33% increase in ticketing sales over the previous 30-day period. So no doubt the connection with HUMBL probably is helping. We're coming out of a pandemic, although it's still here, but as far as restrictions and people gathering and stuff like that, it's starting to lighten up for the moment. Hopefully it will stay like that. Also, some other things, Tickery is also adding additional locations. I think one being Puerto Rico, and I think it was like four or five other locations that they're going to be expanding into. So we're looking at a company that is in a growth trajectory, and being that they've merged with HUMBL and everything like that, that this is going to be a very good sign. I think the Tickery thing is going to be a huge revenue stream for HUMBL and HUMBL investors alike. So let's talk a little bit about the NFTs. So first of all, you can tell every time NFTs come up in conversation along the investor call meeting, Brian always gets very excited about this functionality. This is something new. There's going to be a lot of functionality that's going to help. And I think that the movie industry and the celebrities and all that are going to really like this functionality. And as a consumer, we're going to like it as well. He wants the NFT purchasing process to be even better, right? So at the moment, you have to use Ethereum in order to even purchase NFTs. So basically, he's working on credit card companies that do the processing to create a migration there to allow the regular consumer to buy NFTs as well. I think he realizes that there's a pressure point here, and I actually didn't even realize that this was a problem until he brought it up, and it makes perfectly good sense now that we need to have a way for the general consumer to be able to buy NFTs. So this is very forward thinking on Brian's part, and this is going to help in the meantime while we move from paper and coins to cryptocurrency for purchases in the future, which is likely what will happen. We eventually won't use a regular, paper money like we do today, but it will be all digital. For the moment though, buying NFTs, you have to do it through cryptocurrency like Ethereum. So this is a very important and crucial point that Brian Foote and his team recognize, and so we're going to work on some negotiations to make that happen, and integrations, whatever that entails, to improve that transaction and with less friction. He is also using OpenSea to distribute NFTs, but he is also going to have his own HUMBL's NFT gallery. So essentially, Brian said he's going to use whatever tools that are already out there to help push the brand, essentially, get them exposure. Your name pops up over here, the company pops up over here, and over here, and over here, and over here. Before you know it, everyone just goes boop to one place, which is what we want, right? We want everybody to use HUMBL app for everything, purchases, tickets, airplane, whatever, they're going somewhere, right? Then we got the pending blockchain patents, and you can check those out. Basically, those are the things that I wanted to share with you guys. This is kind of an overview of the latest things that are happening with HUMBL. As an investor, I was never personally worried about the B share or the structure of the shares. And so that wasn't, it's good information, it's good to know, but I was never really concerned about it. I know a lot of people were, but now that we have that out of the way, hopefully people can move on from that. And I know some other things that come up about the company doing another reverse split. I don't see that happening. So I think we should just let that go to rest. But what I can tell you from the investor call meeting and all this is that the company is moving and shaking. If you didn't get that from the investor call meeting, I don't know what will, but we'll have to remember that this is a startup company. But I will say a big but is, despite the fact that this is a startup company, they're nailing it. I mean, they said that they're going to make the acquisition with a studio. They did it, and they didn't just get any studio, right? This is a big deal, right? This studio, they have some following here. They do good work. Same thing with Tickery. These are well thought out, well planned executions with the development of HUMBL. And something I didn't talk about on here just yet, but they're also looking at an M&A or merger and acquisition of a delivery company. Now, they did say that this delivery company may not be something that's operated here in the United States, but as an investor, it doesn't matter where it's operated. All it matters is it's making money. That's what we look at. So if it operates in Mexico or 30 other countries, that doesn't matter as long as it's making money. There's companies that make monies overseas that you would gladly be invested in as long as you're making money from them, right? That's how it works. So regardless of where it's making revenue, it's making revenue. That's the main thing. We talked about the investor conference. It's going to be in Asheville, I think it was Tennessee. That should be exciting. Hopefully we'll see some of y'all out there. And then they got around 40 employees, if I'm not mistaken, that they have working there at HUMBL. And Brian's continuously looking for those people that are talented in blockchain technology, coding, front end and back end engineers that work on that stuff, building out apps. So I'm not an app person, so I can't talk the app talk. But in any case, they are definitely hitting on all cylinders here, and we're still early in the month. They didn't talk about the NFT launch, although I know he mentioned we should be getting it early May. So I'm still anticipating that. We know for certainty now that he's got this deal with the concert that they're going to be doing the NFTs in September. Obviously, the NFT has got to be out working in use prior to that event. So there's, they got a contract now with that. So that there's not like there's any wishy-washy. They got to make it happen. So my thought was on this is the peer-to-peer, although it's useful and we'd like to have it, and don't get me wrong, I would love to have the peer-to-peer. What is HUMBL going to make the most money from, which is going to generate the most revenue for the company, which in turn will provide the best revenue for stock investors? That might be the NFTs. So their focus might be more on the NFTs than maybe on the peer-to-peer. I don't know. This is just speculative. And that's not to say that they're not going to get the peer-to-peer thing, because they did say that they're working with some partnerships with getting that peer-to-peer set up and launched. So that they're already working on that. Another thing that was brought out was about a merger and acquisition as well in the mobile pay. So they're looking at some companies that are already existing that are in the mobile pay line in a company. And so again, they're just looking at companies that are in key zones that will help them to catapult the company and get them up and running faster, quicker. And remember, they're trying to get this company going really quick. And we're only about 6 months, 7 months into the company so far. Usually it takes 3 years for any company any company to do well. And this company is already doing very well in the amount of time that it has been made public, you might say. They also got $50 million in money that's going to be available, and they're going to also have some additional investors that will be able to come in and provide some additional support to the HUMBL team over there to execute their vision, the future app, the super app. Everything that you're going to want to do, interact socially with others, and all that stuff is all going to be there. The best review applications that they can make and design, they want to provide. I don't think Brian Foote is somebody who wants to stop at anything than the best. And so I think that's also reassuring as an investor, that I'm glad I have this stock right now. And as many shares as I do, I'm even more excited about it than I was before. Like I've said in the past, I just had to figure out how I'm going to pick up some additional shares of this stock. But yeah, anyways, these were my thoughts. I think I covered everything pretty well for you guys out there. If you missed it, these were the highlights. Anyways, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. I'm Nathaniel, and this is what you needed to know today.